Social customs during the Regency era revolved around etiquette. Men were expected to be gentlemen and women were expected to be ladies. When horseback riding or walking along the street, the lady always had the wall. And a lady never danced more than 3 dances with the same partner. Shaking hands was used between men of the same social class. A lady was not to wear pearls or diamonds in the morning.
In the Regency era, society was dominated by males. Males were considered to be more aggressive and more intelligent, and while women were considered to be weaker and ruled by their emotions. Men ruled over their wives and their property, so women did not have a say or a vote when it came to politics or life in general. Men were the primary wage earners, while women were expected to primarily be responsible for housework and childcare. Most women discontinued their education in their mid to early teens due to getting married. Nuns were the most educated women in society.
The people in power in the Regency period, which lasted from 1795 to 1837, started off with King George III, the father of the next 2 kings. However, in 1810, he got very, very ill and was deemed not fit to rule. So his son, George IV, wasn't supposed to take over as a regent. Now, a regent means that you're not necessarily king, so you're in full power, but you are in place of the king because he's too ill. So this is George IV. And then finally, after George IV died, we come back to William IV, who was his brother. And William IV ruled until 1837. And that concludes our Regency period. And after that, Queen Victoria started over and started another era.
This historical period was one characterized by the people of his time because it was named for the Prince Regent who became King George IV. King George IV and his dad, King George III, had to deal with a lot of different wars and revolutions throughout Europe and America, including the American Revolution, the French Revolution, and the Napoleonic Wars. Music in the Regency era revolved around dancing, especially in a ballroom setting, which is why waltzing was so popular during the time. Composers like John Bell and Mozart were really popular too.
The dress during the Regency period it was very chill. They didn't have any tight corsets. They'd gotten rid of the corsets, in fact, because people didn't want to seem like they were dressing like the French aristocracy, because this was right after the French Revolution. So people didn't want to dress like they had money, because at that point it didn't seem very good. So they dressed in loose clothes. They wore white. They just dressed to work, and a lot of things were just loose.
Games in this time period were very important. 3 of these were Oranges and Lemons, Lawn Bowl, and Game of Graces. Game of Graces was meant to improve the manners and posture of young girls of the time to give them better graces. Lawn Bowl was a game like this one, where a larger ball was rolled towards a smaller ball called a kitty, where the goal was to get as close as possible. And Oranges and Lemons was a game like London Bridge, where children lined up and put their hands in the air together and people crawled under their arms. Romanticism was a really popular style of art during the time period, especially with Thomas Lawrence, who worked with oil-based paints and won an award in 1784 from the Society of Arts for his rendition of Raphael's Transfiguration.
This is Thomas Lawrence.
Battle scenes and landscapes were really popular during the time also, but the most popular were portraits, like this portrait here.
Romanticism was